Hi everyone, you're going to want to hear this one. It's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344, and I have a union message for you today. Okay, so this read has some more amazing messages. The Lovers was right in the middle of the read again, and you're going to want to hear the messages definitely that came through today. And there's a lot about the pearl, which came out very cool. Today is the 15th, so it is that devil energy, which is just the dark side of our daily life. We all have that shadow energy going on. And honestly, there was no devils in my read. It's all about detox, and it has been all week, okay? So any devil energies are coming up as letting go of those codependencies and addictions, any fear, pain, everyone letting go of that stuff, okay? The 15 is a 6, okay? It is about love. And we have the 29 for the day. 29 is an 11. And it's also the 3 of Wands. And for me, it's very much not only about waiting for your ship to come in, which we're not doing that anymore because we're not looking at outcomes, but it's about staying present and appreciating your present moment, because out there is just desert. There's nothing to see. It's all right here, okay? So we have the detox, and in staying detoxing, you want to stay present. It was just 111. All right, so we have 6 and 11, okay, for Friday. And I woke today at 8:38, and 38 is the Queen of Cups, which is very much the energy of the Divine Feminine. And for my inner feminine and masculine today, the children, they were actually growing up today. They were sitting up reading in their separate beds as older children, not little children. And then they actually came together to read together. So they're actually doing their own thing, learning their own things, and then coming together to share, which was really beautiful, showing them growing up, okay? Because letting go of the immaturity of communication and of heart, right? The shyness or the fear of saying what you want to say or feel. Okay, so that's going away with the detoxing, okay? As we get into the read, it was done at 10:55. 55 is the Ace of Swords. It's all about the truth, okay, and clarity today. The major arcana were the Lovers, Guidance, which is usually the Hierophant, the Hermit, which is the Hermit. It's actually a reflection in this deck, which is normally the Hermit. And then the Great Wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune. The card under the underlying energy, which I also use in the read, was the Emperor, so that was another major arcana. And there were 5 swords in the read today, but I wasn't getting it really in a negative way, which was really interesting. So 5 swords, 1 cup, and 1 pentacle for the union. The court cards were Queen of Cups and Page of Swords, and then the card after the read was the King of Swords. So the Page of Swords in the read with the Queen of Cups, and then the King of Swords, which actually can also represent the Page of Swords growing up, right? And then the numbers and the message from the coding were all about new beginnings and spirituality. And the numbers that came up were just 3, the sequence 1, 2, 3, which came up multiple times. And from my friend who I talked to today, without me even saying anything, she was bringing up 1, 2, 3. And then 67 and 511 all came up. And Rhode Island was coming up like crazy this morning. So for any of you who are in Rhode Island, there's definitely messages for you. Having to do with new beginnings and spirituality. Guidance was definitely coming up, so there's a lot about guidance that will be coming to you. And actually a lot of the headers were recommendations about jobs and opportunities out there for depending on what your work field is. So they were coming up a lot for Rhode Island, but also just to give you all ideas of what may be needed in your realm, whatever field you're in. So the message, though, besides the RE and the AC of the alternating current were coming up as well. And guidance for the Divine Feminine especially. A lot of definitions were coming up for RI and also THR. So I'm going to tell you them in a second, which brought Albania up again for me, which I told you about Himar, or Himare, I don't know how they pronounce it there, but Himar yesterday was Albania, and Albania came up again today in the definitions for RI, which is, in Albanian, young and new, which was the prime definition that I wanted to use here. So it was all about the young and the new, the rare, the laugh, the woman, the face, taking the high road, and the guidance of the Divine Feminine, being in your truth. And remember, there's always alternating currents, okay? Which means, you know, it's the pulsing of the going out and the in from the heart, whether it's the heart, whether it's staying in and hermiting and going without and being in the 3D world. It parallels in all polarities, okay? But sometimes you're going to be more detached from your messages, okay? Sometimes you're going to still get messages like these, like I do for my reads, but I may not be getting strong connection in meditation for visualizations and that kind of thing. So there's always going to be that pulsating of coming into the heart and then going out to the limbs, however that is expressed. So some of the definitions coming up for RI were, again, unit of measure, which came, because this came up not too long ago. RA is a unit of measure in Korean. It's actually 393 meters, I guess, for M. And then another definition is in Dalmatian, which stemmed from a Latin definition of bad. Danish was to baste or tack in sewing. And also some other definitions were rare, in French, to laugh. And Nabi was woman. Face was Zazaki. And Javanese, old Javanese, was old and thorny plant, like a rose. But they didn't say rose, but old thorny plant would be like an old rose. So those were some of the definitions for RI that came up. So if something might connect with you, please comment below if it does. And thank you all for liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting below. Please do all of those if you like the content, and make sure to share. And make sure to comment below on anything that does resonate for you. It may expand that information, that I might be able to share something even more with you. And of course, my services are below. My website and my email are both twinflames3344@gmail.com, and then just .com for my website. And of course, for any coaching, any reading, for any healing or clearing, I am a formal Reiki Master, but of course it's more than that. In using my healing third energies, I've literally I've had some evidence of physical healing and distance healing. So, but as well as the cards and coaching and numerology as well. And yes, I wanted to mention again too my energy portraits. If you'd like your energy portrait done, it's all about me getting a psychic written impression of your energy from a picture that you give me, and I work that energy impression into the portrait, and I have you know, creative license, of course, to use that portrait, but you know, use a favorite portrait of yourself or you and your twin. So I'll do up to 2 people, but I do an energetic imprint basically from you, and then I expand on that creatively, but then I also give you a psychic message with it, which I can either give to you separately or incorporate into the picture as well. Okay, so again, that's $99. I'll leave it on sale for $77 still. So if you'd like to have that done, let me know. And again, my information is below. So as we get into the headers, and again, this message being all about new beginnings and spirituality. And the 3 of 1, 2, 3, and I was getting 1, 2, 3, jump. Okay, so it's time to jump. And the 3 is of the Empress, you know, to into your power. Now it's not even power; it's just abundance and happiness and having everything you need or ever wanted. Like, don't sell yourself short; that you can have everything that you dream of. But to be young and new and rare and laugh and be a woman. And then I was just getting Vogue for, you know, face. And then take the high road. And not only receive guidance, but give guidance to others. Share your information. The headings that came up were a lot about Rhode Island, but just so you know, they're all different departments of ideas for jobs that different people in different fields can do. So HHRI came up, which is a holistic health from RI.com. holistichealthri.com. And that's on Main Street in Greenwich, Rhode Island, and the zip code I loved was 02818, which is 28 of the twin flames and then 18 of the moon, or the feminine energy. And then they have a selection of different combination of healing healings offered there at their business. So just can give you an idea of what you might like to do, whether it's acupuncture or something else or alternative. Also, ways to save was another heading from nationalgridus.com. And it literally said, Rhode Island, change location. Okay, so it's calling to you guys. It's giving you ideas. K through 12 teacher from jobs2careers.com. Lead Mammotech from jobs.lifespan.org. Also maybe giving you ideas of job sites to look in. And then there was some medical stuff that came up. It's hard to bring up the title because it was a lot of coding. So it was like bracket C .ti capital C small I approximation .ri .thri, but it was about connecting repositories, and that was from core.ac.uk. And there was two different headings that came up for this same thing, different articles under the same abstracts. So it's JACC from February 1997 abstracts. Posters 429A and 427 both came up, so if you want a reference to them, you can. And they're medical, having to do with mitral valves. I think the other one was cardiac as well. It was about a pig heart. Isovolumetrically beating pig heart. Underwent non-recirculating retrograde aortic perfusion, 37C, but you can look it up if you want more information. Again, there was those two that came up. Also, decision support analysis from jobs.lifespan.org. That's also Providence, Rhode Island. And remodeling companies, Central Fall, Rhode Island, which is siding contractors, nearme.com. Also, intravascular catheters, wires, and delivery systems from FDA.gov came up as in having to do with draft guidance. So again, a lot of guidance was coming up here. And the author there was R.I. Mehta, M-E-H-T-A. So that person may be a connection for you. And that had to do with distal so distal embolization issues after some kind of percutaneous coronary treatment. So you can look that up. He's an author. Okay, and then Providence College came up from providence.edu, and then a whole bunch of other stuff came up with another entry that had everything to do with detoxing, chemical stuff, safety as far as chemicals and what regulations should be in place for certain things, you know, for natural things, you know, anything that's chemically based and not healthy. So hopefully that helps somebody out there. And also a website from the government, rgl.fan.gov, wouldn't open, it wouldn't allow you in, so that might have been something for someone needed to know. And then getting into the read. Alright, so it starts on the Two of Orbs, or Two of Swords. For me, that's in this Sirian Starseed deck is very much about being in your knowing as a twin, or others refusing to see, right? But in this, there's no blindfold in this card. Okay, she's just kind of walking on air, floating with two orbs. So she's definitely in her knowing. She doesn't have a blindfold on, but she doesn't need to use her eyes anyway. But floating and light, and then Light Star came up. Light Star was the other orange and red and yellow picture that I had back here. Light Star did for me of her psychic impression of my energy. So you know, I'm letting you know that again because she came up here. So if you'd like your portrait done, I mean, she does beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work, and I got messages and codes as well within that portrait. But I was getting floating light on a wing and a prayer, light as a feather, and then now. Never thought I could feel this free. I'm trying to think of the tune of it. Who could it be? It's just me. And that was from, it came up before and I couldn't remember the title either, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But literally the words were, never thought I could feel so free, Who could it be? It's just me. And I was definitely getting some masculine energy coming in there. as the Emperor hides behind his knowing. Messenger of truth, connection, and rejection, which is coming up as emotional immaturity and having to grow up, which came up for sure today. The messenger or immature communication, there's a message or news or immature communication between a Queen of Pentacles, who could be Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, and a Libra or the Justice or the Queen of Pentacles along with the Justice system. New passion and growth and opportunity to learn from the Queen of Swords, speaking her truth or gaining inspiration from her on her platform. Going green and wearing sandals instead of boots and shoes, natural materials, bricks and mortar, someone out in countryside, or planting seeds for new growth. The underlying energy signs that were coming up were only Aquarius reversed, Aries both ways, Scorpio reversed, and then Libra, Virgo, and Pisces, which seem more neutral. I didn't have one way or the other. But those were the only ones coming up in the underlying energy, and I'll let you know about the other ones for the read. But I also want you to know from this read, the Queen of Wands was not present anywhere in this read, and there wasn't much direct Capricorn coming up either. It's not that Capricorn wasn't represented in some of the more minor cards, but there was no major Capricorn represented. That was the only sign that really wasn't represented very well. So cracks in the DNA in order to learn about. So for those of you in the medical field and deal with that kind of thing, it always brings up these messages that you might want to look into. So the cracks in the DNA to learn about the stinger, the tail, the root chakra, the end of story. We're done with the root chakra. Now focusing on the sacral, solar plexus, and heart. Planting bulbs and finding what motivates you in the morning. Also, the whole family watching to see what she says. Even a judge who may be a twin. Watching or justice of the peace for some. Or justice makes peace between twins for others. So any twins who've had any dissension between them are making peace. There's definitely cooperation coming here. But also justice of the peace for someone else. A fool takes a leap to open heart fully to union, to happiness in the aftermath of manipulation or manipulative or emotional or over-emotional communications. The Queen of Cups reversed sent message. Mermaid energy and Jesus and Mary Magdalene together coming up here. Don't need a crown to be happy is what they were saying. Okay, and so now I'm referring back, I'm just getting this now, that the Queen of Cups reverse is coming up as Mary Magdalene. Okay, when she's in her wounded warrior, that victim mentality. The mermaid energy, along with Jesus and Mary Magdalene together, are telling you you don't need a crown to be happy. So then chemistry comes up as and spirits connecting. Chemistry is coming up as underlying energy along with deception below that. Okay, so that somebody was wearing a false mask, but we're past that now. We're at chemistry with the magnetic attraction. That the past is the fall. Everyone take a deep breath, okay? Okay, there's definitely some stressful energies coming in. The past is the fall. The growth is in burning the past. The point or pointed toe, crossed ankles is a focus. The kite, new leaves and roses, possibly a funeral service or planting rose vines on the house or patio, or cutting flowers from Valentine's Day, or someone has thrown them out in the yard, or someone's actually pruning outside. And at that point, my township truck pulls up right in front of my house to do some work across the street, and of course they were noisy all day today. And it's very bright yellow. Okay, so again, bringing up like the sacral to solar plexus, depending on how yellow it is. It's a little yellow-orange. So the King of Cups may be proud of their daughter, who may have won an award, or just for being thoughtful, allowing a treat or food in the living room, you know, as a reward. An olive branch extended between twisted sisters and hostage situation. The divine masculine hung up on studying or researching his muse or obsession, him keeping her hands tied while he takes care of children. He may be growing roses, blueberries, or olives, especially for her. And more underlying energies came up for the union of rebirth, number 16, the Tower, and forgiveness, 96, which is a 6 of love. So, you know, big breakthroughs with rebirth in the tower, and then forgiveness, okay? You always have to have your heart open for forgiveness. Golden Globes over, which was coming up from the cards. I know nothing about the Golden Globes. I actually had to look it up to see when it was, and it was just over in January. So, Golden Globes over, who lost, who didn't win, or kids' competitions, someone may have lost and having tantrums and being foolish, feeling like all hope is lost when you've actually won something big. Like, you know, someone who may have won second and they're pissed because they didn't get first. I was definitely getting that for some kids in their competitions. Keep your eye on the prize, the Holy Grail. By the cycles of the moon, your sign, new or full, start or release. The full moon in Virgo is coming up here on the 19th. Release the idea of perfection. That's all about Virgo. And be willing to start from scratch. Or start over again from scratch if needed. Okay? The codes are written in the stars and planets. Light from eyes, don't forget to use them. Time to get back into nature. Put your trumpet down in calm waters infused with light. Show your talent. Have a party, just don't overdo it. Use colors of the rainbow, rings and wands, puzzle pieces, mind twisters, interlocking sovereigns. Chinese torture test. The more you struggle, the worse it gets. Good to have fun. Allow yourself to be the fool. Don't worry what others think as long as you are a happy fool. Making others laugh as you being the butt of the joke is not love. Just brush it off. Making yourself laugh is love. Just don't take yourself so seriously. Have fun by doing what you love, not others. Like, don't allow yourself to be the butt of the joke. If that happens, laugh it off. It's not that big a deal. But that's not loving yourself either, okay? So don't make that a career. You know, if it happens, it happens. That's not a big deal. But don't be the fool so that you don't have to live your authentic self, okay? When you're entertaining others because your insecurities become that cover of being the comic, you know, so that you detract from yourself, that you need to let go of, okay? Because that's a defense. That's an insecurity. If you don't get it right the first time, try and try again. As long as it's fun for you. When it's not, then try something different. The Emperor is present in knowing, learning from his twin, getting ready to communicate and start over again. Magnetic attraction in King of Cups rebirth. Recently, truth and triumph of the King of Wands reversed, who's very tired but happy in separation with epiphanies as lightning strikes this day that will go down in infamy. And that was so amazing that came through again, because I just watched 2 movies 2 days in a row that both literally in the movie had the radio on with, you know, that it was December 7th that Pearl Harbor was invaded, and that this day would go down in infamy, right? 2 movies in a row, and now it came up again. Well, it wasn't just about this day going down in infamy. It was literally about Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is the home of the pearl that the lobster found when the clam opened its mouth to let him in. Okay, so remember the moon card with the lobster going down the path? There's a card where the lobster is finding his pearl in the clam while the others are busy drinking and partying. This is what he's interested in. It may not be as shining as the pearl of the oyster. It is glossy like porcelain. This is one from the clam. It is glossy like porcelain and can weigh up to 14, the temperance card, the angels, pounds. Or in kilograms, it's 6.4, which is the 10 of swords. Okay? And that's very much about the ending of pain. Okay? So the angels and the transmutation of pain. Or was the lobster the feminine on the long road, and the divine masculine the clam, who finally opens his mouth, afraid to show he was a clam and not an oyster, the diamond in the rough who kept his prisoner quiet. That we're all done with those 3 of Swords energies now. That's in the past. So then pearls come up, and you love the references from the pearls. And also I wanted to bring up, when I talked to my friend today, when I talked to Lightstar, I had sent her back a message about the portrait, because I looked into it today to get her the messages I was getting from it, to tell her what I got from it. And it was just 444. And one of the messages had to do with like chakra rays being in the four corners, that was the energy that actually protects the natural energy of light and love, that actually protects the union. And then when I was talking to my friend today, a bus passed that literally said unified square. Unified squared. Yeah, so it definitely had to do with the four and the union, okay? So as far as the pearls, so I looked up pearls because obviously pearls was a big topic here, and that came up for her as well. My friend dreamt Claire, which meant pearl, and she didn't even associate the Claire with the clairvoyance and all that kind of stuff. So I brought that to her, and then she brought the Claire to me because pearl was already coming up for me a lot because I bring it up all the time from the moon card and the lobster, but also now it's coming in from Pearl Harbor. And that the harbor is the home of the pearl, which is the clam or the oyster, right? But it was really more about the clam in the picture that I always see, right? So what did that mean? Well, in talking about pearls online, one site was cultural pearl. One of the websites was wintersun.co.uk, and the other was answers.com, so just definitions about pearls and that kind of thing. But pearls, the Akoya pearl, takes about 10 to 14 months to get up to 9 millimeters, and this is, I believe, the cultured ones, okay? And then Tahitian, they were estimating about 18 to 24 months, up to 10 millimeters. And then South Sea pearl may take 2 to 3 years to get up to 15 millimeters. And we're talking about 14, right, coming from the prior message, which would be a South Sea pearl taking 2 to 3 years, or more actually, what I gathered from another website as well, because this is cultured. But the definition, right, for pearls, it's dirt, but it's really about a parasite getting into the pearl or the oyster. Inside the clam or the oyster, the clam actually makes the mother of pearl part. Parasite penetrates mother of pearl. Okay, so you like that reference? Okay, so the parasite penetrates mother of pearl. So think about this in terms of how the journey went for you. Contacts the mollusk's mantle muscle, the epithelial cells, which produce nacre. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but NACRE, which excretes, I guess, the mother of pearl. Well, the clam, rejecting the unnatural, organ, just like a body, of this invader, builds a pearl sac around it. In other words, the bubble. Okay? And actually the sac around it is aragonite and calcite platelets. So the other site was saying it takes 6 to 8 years to make a pearl, and up to 35 years for a clam. Get this, because the clam is lazy. And so I was definitely referencing the clam to the oyster as, in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, when the Holy Grail, you don't look for the one that's shiny on the outside, you look for the one that's shiny on the inside. Well, the oyster is the one that's very shiny on the outside because the pearls are very sparkly and shiny, but the pearls in the clam tend to be more what did I just say? They're more like, didn't I get up to that yet? Not, yeah, they're more like porcelain, okay? And so they're not as shiny, right? So it's a comparison to the Holy Grail, basically. That the Holy Grail was very humble. It was gold on the inside for practical use. Well, that's like the clam and the pearl, okay? So it can take 6 to 8 years to make a pearl and up to 35 years for a clam because, get this, it is lazy. I love that. It can take as little as a few months to form a seed, the seed pearl, but the natural cycle is hard to tell. Cultured Akoya, 1 to 2 years on this site. to culture, and black Tahitian up to 7 years. Small natural pearls can grow within a year, but it was referencing to the cycle of the journey, how long it takes to grow a pearl. And the other references too about the cycle, right? So it was pretty cool that that was coming up. So then getting back to the read, foundation for the read is the Hermit, with some sneakiness around ending battle to hold on to wounds, confessing or releasing burdens completely now. The Lovers is the card centrally, okay? Standing up to others and awakening as angels and injustice of powerful passions or impending divorce. The Divine Feminine had been in mourning as the Queen of Swords. The challenge being for the union, marriage of commitment showing upper hand, while lower energies consumed in dumping a love relationship. The Knight of Pentacles, Sagittarius female drinker or potion maker, kept his attention by playing possum, refusing to wake up, and playing dead, from loss of love. Now in head of union or crowning, receiving downloads and passing on some downloads in quiet behind the scenes for more information. So to allow yourself to gather, to let it, I just used the word, now I can't remember it again. Allow it to germinate, okay? So, and again, it was 3111 just now, 3113. 31 is the 5 of Wands, the expansion energy, and then 13, of course, is the transformation energy of the Death card and transition. So right as I wrote down that the karmic was basically playing dead from loss of love, playing possum, that was from 144 to 45, which is that mastering and then the grieving process. Now in the head of the union, crowning, receiving those downloads and passing some in the quiet behind the scenes so they can germinate and get more information to culture the pearls, so to speak. In the pain cycles, uninspired and having tantrums, paying out imbalances of manipulation and insecurities, chaos, drama, losing money from pensions and inheritances, or in dealing with dysfunctional family issues and starting over, recovering in a practical way by sharing responsibilities. Now that the worst is over, getting wish of a new life, as the Divine Masculine dumps his karmic in a death and rebirth, cracking the whip with kids, telling them, not asking them how it is. The harsh truth out ×2, a double whammy, as the King of Pentacles comes together with Lover, who's sad, and the King of Wands gets comfort or gives comfort to wounded warrior, Mary Mag. Okay, so the wounded warrior here is coming up as the feminine. Soon, the Queen of Cups, family dumping attachments, being sovereign and shining her light, healing, and dumping her addictions. The union is seen as the Ace of Orbs, or the Ace of Swords, which is the truth, clarity, triumph. Spiritual co-creation at work, letting go to patch up and rise above. The cards came up here, or past life relationship, and let friends help. Around the union, or how it is seen, is the Page of Orbs, or Page of Swords, with a little bit of light, or a small message. And then right then, I looked at the time, it was 1:55 and the mail was 6606. I know it's terrible to see how much mail I have to trash, but I have to go through it. So, but it was specific about the numbers, and again, the 55 is the Ace of Swords. Oh, and I got a message from my mail because USAA, which is my insurance company, was telling me to go in because I have to change my payment plan. So there may be some changes for you financially. Okay, so over loss and grief without option, the Emperor's out of control or out of ego to let go. News or message about the King of Cups. Clear blocks for both masculine and feminine, because this is the union. Clear blocks about destiny, about good luck and good fortune, about the atom and the solar system. Frustration and creative blocks, and how to be strong, which is Leo, ego, and pretending not to see and stressing self out. Let go of all of it. Spirituality came up as well from the numerology deck, and new beginnings. The signs that came up in the body of the read, and again, like I said, there was no Queen of Wands here, so that karmic energy was absent in the read today, and not much in Capricorn energies either, although Capricorn was represented just much more in a minor sense. So Pisces was upright, Sagittarius upright, Aries reversed, Cancer reversed, Scorpio upright, Aquarius upright, Leo upright. But the four major signs from the main deck, was Gemini, Taurus, Virgo, and Libra. On Gemini, not sure which direction it was going there. It could be neutral. But Taurus was reversed, Virgo was upright, and Libra was both upright and reversed. So it could be either two Libras or it could be one Libra vacillating, which makes sense. Okay, so the adventure, as I said, spirituality, new beginnings came up, but even more so adventure, nature, and patience. So again, that it's spring, it's about being out in nature. That becomes a major focus right now. And continuing patience, that does never end. You have to be patient with everything. Allow the natural cycle of things. But also allow the adventure here, okay, to have fun. Balance and sharing, third-party justice, 2 spoons of just the right medicine. The Divine Masculine and possibly 1 to 2 friends come in to help him with a proposal of love to lover who starts crying. The Wounded Warrior and Tinkerbell, all 4 of his parts, come together as already loving Father, King of Cups, affectionate King of Wands, well-established King of Pentacles, and now King of Swords in his truth, rising to his destiny with the help from his friends and children. The Page of Pentacles, Scorpio, which was the Death card actually, and Knight of Cups, or just all 3 are him. The Knight of Cups with an invitation to transform together. The King of Pentacles, finances, Scorpio, social connections, and Knight of Cups lover to turn grief into something balanced. Or the King of Pentacles, King of Wands, Wounded Warrior, intervention with mediator present to get this done once and for all. So it could definitely be like a divorce or some kind of mediation to make a settlement finally, because something that's gone on and on and on forever, that's being settled. Equitable distribution of divorce final. So King of Cups can move on with his life. The King of Swords, Wounded Warrior destiny of good fortune, balanced with love, being called to awaken, holding back his feelings to stay present and balanced and open to all. The Emperor in his knowing, pretending not to know, hiding, was isolating for wisdom to germinate about the truth of a message of heartbreak and separation in knowing of lovers' divine marriage. Queen of Cups destined to risk all to come together in balance with King of Swords, destined to comfort her and vice versa, and be present in the moment from now on. Rebirth of the Divine Masculine. Okay? So that was a very clear message coming through to me. So I'm going to pull you a few oracle cards. Take a deep breath. I wasn't feeling these harsh energies earlier today, but they're coming in now. There's definitely some expansion energies starting to pulse in again. So just make sure to take deep breaths. Keep your body moving to release different aspects of yourself. Make sure to stretch. Stretching is so important. Clear and align. Clear and align. All right, so February 15th, 2019, for everybody watching, in the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? I'm going to ask Jesus and Mary, because it definitely came up in the cards today. Jesus and Mary, what is it we need to know? What is it we need to learn? Very specific. Okay, that one too. Okay, the bottom is Intergalactic Council, number 29, which is the 3 of Wands, staying present, which what did we end on just now? All right, 2911. Again, we have these 11s going on. 38 and 29 has been coming up a lot today. As well as 11, because justice was definitely here. And making peace. And 11 is very much about peace and spirituality. The Intergalactic Council says, I visit the Intergalactic Council today. Having a little trouble with my speech today. And that was coming up too, because the Page of Swords is up here. All right. The card that came out was the Earth, number 14, which came up for sure in the read today, about the pearls and about temperance and the angels. And it's been coming up every day, all the time. 14 is that temperance card of patience and balance. That's all it takes. You know, justice is just truth and balance. That's all it ever is. 14 is a 5 of expansion. It's the 4 of stability, having stability on the inside, calmness, structuredness, in order to have the 1 on the outside, which is that leader. You know, it's that focused male energy, that drive. All right, this is the Earth. This card invites you to connect to Lady Gaia, the angel in charge of our planet, as well as to Taya, the elemental master of Earth, and his Earth elementals, including goblins and pixies. Invoke Master Vygotsky, master of the 11th ray of mysticism. Here we have 11 again. It was just 40. 40 is the Page of Cups. Pure, unconditional, innocent love. Okay? But 11th and 14 is Justice and the Temperance card, and then the Page of Cups. So they've been coming up like crazy, all three of those this week. Invoke Master Vygotsky, master of the 11th ray of mysticism, to help you attune to the wisdom of our glorious planet and then listen to its heartbeat. To further expand your consciousness, ask the Earth Dragons to help you connect to Hollow Earth and Lemurian wisdom. And also the mermaids were coming up. Earth loves, nurtures, and welcomes you, so this is a card of joy and celebration. The affirmation is, I thank Lady Gaia for inviting me to be on Earth. So make sure you have gratitude. But also, dolphins were coming up again. Oh, I didn't even realize that. I was thinking of putting on dolphin music earlier and I didn't. And guess what came up with the Earth? Dolphins. Number 23, the King of Wands. So dolphins and whales. Whales also were coming up earlier today. So it's definitely about that Lemurian wisdom, okay, that energy. And thank the Earth for allowing you to be here. That you're all connected. And dolphins, like I said, is number 23. That's the King of Wands energy, the man of passion. The dolphin sonics purify and raise the frequency of water as they swim through it so that they can access, maintain, and pass on the wisdom of Golden Atlantis and Lemuria. Those dolphins who shimmer, we're talking about pearls today and shimmering, maybe that's the word for the clan pearls, shimmer. With aquamarine light were the angels of Atlantis. They are mighty beings who help to hold the frequency of the oceans. Choosing this card invites you to tune in to the beautiful dolphins and access a message from them. Your guidance is to relax and flow with the current of ascension, the currents of the ocean, knowing that the dolphins are telepathically imparting help and wisdom to you. The affirmation is, I connect with dolphin wisdom. All right. So, now we have, so it was really very much about nature today, right? Because we have the Earth and dolphins, and I was talking about the cards today is all about nature and spring. That's really our focus right now, is to get outside and be one with nature, to convene with Mother Nature and show our gratitude for the flowers that might be popping up soon, and have an adventure. Clear and align. Clear and align. All right, so again, February 15, 2019. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Jesus and Mary Magdalene, please. The energies of the ancient ones, please. Okay, we got 2 and 2. The bottom is wars and battles again. This came up, I think it was yesterday. Okay, so this is the underlying energy. Letting go of the battles, that the battles are over now. You're no longer alone. No longer do you ever need to feel alone. These two came out together, Mother and Galactic. So one might be from Jesus and one from Mary. That comes up that way sometimes. Alright, so this is very much about the Mother. And so Mary Magdalene is wanting you to connect your earthly motherhood and the actual Earth, Gaia, as the mother, to your galactic sisters and her. Your galactic feminine. And here again the kite's coming up, because the kite came up earlier. Fly high to the sky on a wing and a prayer. Like light as a feather. Okay? Like the storybooks tell you when you were read to as a child. In the wingback armchair that we all had. That's now in my basement from my mother's house. Maybe you need to read a book to your mother. This is also, though, too, about The twins, like brother and sister, are now growing up in their emotional and verbal maturity, their communication skills and their emotional skills. They're learning to, this is perfect, right? Because I told you this morning that my twins came together to read together, and that's exactly what they're doing now. They're sharing what they've learned, okay? And that common theme is the Mother Earth, and Mary Magdalene. All right, so then we have Greco and Roman and spirituality and religion. Again, so here we have a book again, an open book, so it's really calling us to open a book and shed light on things we may not know, to do some research, but also open your hands and your chakras, which is a helping hand, but also your healing energies. We're to open all of it, to use it in conjunction with each other, to make a breakthrough, to let the sun shine in. Let the sun shine to the Colosseum where the battles were fought, of the White House and the Lincoln Memorial. I was just getting a want to cry thing coming up from Lincoln, because I just watched those two movies, were both from the time of the slaves. There's definitely a tribute to Lincoln here, and it's making me want to cry more. It's that breakthrough that Lincoln made for the slaves. Let the sun shine through to for the Romans over the Colosseum, for all the lives that were lost there, and for Jesus on the cross, to let go of all of the religion behind it. Losing your religion. And allow him to just be a man like you are. Mary Magdalene's making me cry. He was just a man. And she was just a woman standing in front of a man, or a girl in front of a boy, asking him to love her. And her helping him through it anyway, because she would have been with him the whole time as a twin. Okay, so a really beautiful message there. And have compassion for those Romans who, not just the Romans, but it's giving you that parallel, as Jesus gave compassion to those Roman leaders at the time, Herod, or whoever it was, okay? The same for you, to have compassion for your leaders in the White House, and for those leaders in religions. Lose your religion, but have compassion for those leaders, okay? And allow the light shine. You see there's such parallel here, that you didn't need to read about the Colosseum, okay, because the story has been told. The light breakthrough on the story that's been already told. Use your hands, open your hands to help and to heal the past. Alright, one more. Hopefully it's just one more card. They're getting me today. Clear and align. Take another deep breath. So from Jesus and Mary, one more word of advice for this February 15. I want to say President's Day. It's a tribute to the presidents, so I'm supposed to bring up George Washington as well, because Lincoln already came up. Taft just came. Jefferson. And I'm also getting to bring up Benjamin Franklin. About the light. And there's a Ben Franklin sitting on a bench here because it's my father's award from Penn. And there's another little statue I have from my parents because I have all their old stuff of someone like holding her. Like, what's the movie with the kid? Why can't I think of words? But you know, when he was left home. That's like him grabbing his head behind Lincoln. Okay, and about the light. Allow the light bulb to go off in your head. Thank you. Alright, so Jesus and Mary, this February 15th, 2019. For everyone watching, and the best and highest good of all is concerned, one last message from Jesus and Mary. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Thank you for that. Okay, 2 cards, one from each. The bottom of the deck is 17. The star, your dreams come true, healing, your grace, her grace. And my mother's middle name is Grace. It still is. I used to say was. My mother's not her. She's in the Alzheimer's facility. She hasn't been herself for years. So I'm sorry if I say that. She's still with us. And just for a moment, joy is below her grace. Okay, and that's 46 of the 2 children in the garden, and then we have 17 of the star, which is very much about the union energy. The cards that came out for you guys from Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Alright, well, alright, this is the message from each of them. We have a 2 and an 8. For 28, the 2 flames, the lovers. And we have yin yang lover, and within nothing, there is everything. The space between the words, the quantum leap. The vortex, the void, 0 point. It's just 52-11. 52 is the Queen of Swords, the one who grieved, and then the 11, and there's justice for the Queen of Swords, the one who grieved. Alright, so we have 2 for within nothing, there's everything, and 8 for the yin yang lover. 1 is very much blues and purples and greens and whites, and the other one is very much magentas and olive greens and whites, and more, you know, burnt yellows type colors. Alright, so it feels like within nothing there's everything is from Mary Magdalene, and the yin yang lover from Jesus. And not only because of the coloring, but because the within nothing is very much of an ultrasound of someone's womb. But number 2, and it's number 2, which is the High Priestess and the feminine energy. So we're going to go with that first. Within nothing, there's everything. From a point of stillness, a moment, a complete universe is opening up to you, endlessly expanding. Your every thought and intention sends ripples of consciousness through the universe. What a creative being you are. You're sending consciousness into motion, bringing your creation into being, with every inner desire, with every whispered wish. The universe receives your yearning and aspirations with open arms, returning them to you as manifestation in your life. What is really in your heart? Your open arms sigh. Speak your heart truth aloud to the loving universe and receive it as your destiny manifesting now. Harmonious permanent physical union for all organic true twins and their beloveds across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all is concerned. And so it is. This oracle brings a message to you. Something that you want is on its way to you. It may seem to be coming out of nowhere, no sign on the horizon to give you hope, yet it is coming to you anyway. It is spiritual law that you cannot be denied the manifestation of your heart's desire. Trust and remain open to the tide of universal love rushing toward you, swelling within you now. And the poem simply says, the wind moves gently, through trees quiet water flows, life's song calls softly. Okay. In the natural going with the flow of it, right? So we have the wind and the quiet water flowing through the trees. the skies, it was just 54, 44, and 45. And the 54 and 45 are the Page of Swords and the grieving, the Five of Cups, okay? So it's about grieving the poor communication between you of the past, okay? To allow yourselves to go with the flow and allow the winds, we have the wind beneath your wings came up in the read today, and then the quiet waters flowing in the tributaries that ripple out. Okay, life's song calls softly. Killing me softly with his song. Okay, that came up just now as well. Number 8 came up, and that was Yin Yang Lover. Let's see what the masculine has to say, or Jesus. The force of attraction is stronger than your conscious control. Magnetism. There's no need to fight this inner genius. You can learn to speak its language instead. What is it that captures you, that pulls you close, that holds much light for you? Why fight it? Don't step away from what you really love to grab hold of a second prize, which somebody was having a tantrum from earlier in the read. Why not claim your first prize? It is there waiting for you. It is yours alone, beloved. No one else can claim your own divine birthright for you. Be yielding and let your desire fill your body, your heart, and your mind. You don't have to fight for what is already yours. It will come to you through the field of attraction that emanates from your own heart. It is not a question of worthiness or deservedness. It is not a question of trying to work out what you need or want. Your heart always knows. Listen, if you can still hear it, then just feel. You get the gist of it soon enough. This oracle has a message for you. No matter whether you seem to be heading closer to your goal or further away, you're making real spiritual progress, and what you want is the same thing that is wanting you. What you are seeking is seeking you. It's only a matter of time before you get it. And the poem reads, the moment when to fill my heart again is measured not in time or sweet remorse, nor tears that wash away unbridled pain, or morning's light which sings its soft retort. Such love has slept through storm and winters long. No call could break the stillness's embrace, or hasten change before the season's song unfurls its melody and words so chaste. Empowered thus, I found myself compelled to cast aside emotions dormant still. My feelings spoke from depths, the answers welled, no need or past, the emptiness to fill. At one our touch has opened hearts anew, of patience, born there waits a love so true. And that would be the pearl. Okay, I'm going to show you the pictures real quick so I don't make this go too long. Okay, so this is the union read. I'll show you the basic read as well. Okay, and then this is the basic read. Rise and be loved, guys. Have an amazing day.